What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fun with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Allie. Everyone has a list of things they've always wanted to do. For some, it's a bucket list, and for others, it's the things that they want to try, but they keep making excuses not to. Maybe it's because you don't have the time, or the money, or because you just don't want to go alone. Or maybe you're like me, and are just really good at making excuses and finding reasons not to put yourself out there. The Fun with Friends podcast is all about getting out there, exploring, trying new things, and chasing happiness. Join me, Allie, and my friends as we work through our list of things we've always wanted to try, and as we go on adventures and discuss the meaning of happiness and friendship. Who knows? Maybe we'll fall in love with an activity. Maybe we'll find something that brings us happiness, or maybe we find out that an aerial silks class just isn't for us. Come join the fun and hang out with my friends and me as we go on adventures and explore our city. Boo, bitches! Welcome to the special spooky episode of the Fun with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Allie, and joining me on today's Halloween spooktacular episode are my friends, Katie and Tara. Say hi.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
In today's episode, we will be recounting some terrifying tales from the King's Dominion Halloween Haunt, which we have literally just come from. We've spent probably about the last, 10 hours of our lives in King's Dominion, and probably about 5 of those hours getting the shit scared out of us. Mm-hmm. It was quite fantastic. We're currently sitting in our hotel just outside of King's Dominion, recording this with our last bit of energy. It's far past all of our bedtimes. We're far too old for this. Our feet hurt. we're ready to call it a night, but we're pushing through. And before we jump into the event, let's learn a little bit more about my guests. You've all met Katie on episode 1 of the podcast called A Critter.
I'm back, y'all.
Which, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, you definitely need to put this on hold and get back there and listen to that one. In fact, listen to all of them. They're fantastic. Katie, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, we're back to sipping on a little bit of that peach pecan whiskey from Lick Life Spirits in Zebulon, North Carolina. And then got a little bit of Jim Beam apple back here just in case, we need to get into that.
At the haunt, we had a couple of mixed drinks. Witch's Brew.
I want to say it said schnapps on the list.
A grenadine. It was whiskey, grenadine,
triple sec.
Sprite, and triple sec. And a gummy worm.
I was going to say, the best part of the drink, though, was that gummy worm. I was really, my primary concern going into getting a drink was, which one do I have to get a gummy worm?
I drank mine too fast and had a huge ice barrier between my gummy worm and my mouth. So I had to fish it out.
That's sad. I truly, truly enjoy a slightly frozen gummy worm. But
you want it.
It's delicious. Since Katie has done this before and Tara has not, we're going to start with Katie because you know the whole process. So why don't you kick us off with some fun facts about yourself? Last time you mentioned how you have a deep, deep hate of green peppers.
No, sir. Don't like them.
And that you would spit at them if you saw them or if they were in your food. And we also found out that you really, really, really hate tiny, tiny monkey hands. So,
true.
Any other fun facts that you would like to share with us tonight?
Well, in the spirit of the evening and the fact that this is going to be our spooktacular Halloween extravaganza, I think I'm going to go with Halloween costumes. So this year, my plan is to be a jellyfish. I haven't even started that yet, though, so we shall see what kind of quality is going to come out of that. And then I think my favorite adulthood costume is when I made myself a version of the board game Candyland. I felt like it was quite glorious, and I rocked that shit and won a costume contest. So, there you have it.
I have questions.
Okay, questions? I have some answers.
How do you see this jellyfish costume coming together? Are you looking at having little spindly things coming off of your body?
Tentacles?
Yeah. I'm thinking of like little like windy like. You know.
No, so I was
from your head.
Yeah, from my head. So a lot of the times you'll see like simple ones as like umbrellas. Like people do things with little umbrellas, and I do have a couple of parasols at home that I have intended to turn into Mardi Gras umbrellas. Have not done that either. The craft list is very long.
Yes.
But so I saw a couple of ideas, and one that I really liked was they took a hanging basket, which I have quite a few from this season, and they wrapped it in bubble wrap, so it created kind of like a Spaceballs-esque
some
helmet.
texture on there.
So you create, and then you wrap that in some sort of semi-opaque fabric. So I'm probably gonna get a blue, maybe a little bit of purple, something just real fun. So you wrap that, but then the big thing is you have to create some ruffles, which are fairly easy to do. I just have to get the sewing machine out real quick. And so you make a ruffle around the top, and then you make all your tentacles in different lengths and sizes and widths, and you make a couple of them out of ruffles. And so it all hangs and kind of moves, and then I have some small battery-powered LED light strands that I'm going to put in there. And a lot of people don't know, but if you've ever seen an Azalea Trail Maid, how they tie their hats on, like you tie you just tie it on, and then I would just wear black, and then I would just be at work.
Oh, so it would be
the
main headpiece.
In my glorious
Halloween
jellyfishness.
Oh.
Well, because it's a big thing that takes Halloween very seriously.
Nice.
So that's the plan. So far, I think I can do it. I have everything except the fabric, so I would just need to go to the fabric store and do that by Thursday.
That's a hell of a lot more effort than I'll be putting in.
Yeah, I also thought about just getting a bunch of pink balloons and making myself a sea anemone, but,
I'll be going as a Slytherin again.
Again.
It's my go-to Halloween. And I'm probably more formally dressed at work than I've ever been in my life because I'll have a tie and a collared shirt on. So, a dress shirt. So, I'm looking forward to it. Tara.
Yes.
You're in the hot seat.
Great.
First, tell us a little bit about yourself. So, who you are, where you're from, and then a fun fact or two about yourself.
Sure. My name is Tara. I'm from a town called Paducah, Kentucky.
Paducah!
Yep. I'm Southern. So, yeah, I've lived in Kentucky, Alabama, North Carolina, and now I live in D.C., which is still south of the Mason-Dixon line. So
Still Southern?
Still Southern. Still very much so. I would just say a fun factor or two about myself. I would say fairly recently, probably about a month ago, I jumped out of a plane for the very first time. I was terrified.
It's amazing.
I almost died, I'll just say, because I jumped out of a plane. I probably was in shock about it for about a week. I went into the office and maybe I shouldn't have gone to work, because I did it on a Sunday, and I was like, I could have just probably stayed home.
Took a moment to
weird.
set
in. It was
in.
still very weird. I'll probably do it again, but I just screamed the whole time, and yeah, it was very scary. I guess another fun fact is I have planned an extensive trip to Bali for Christmas.
Nice.
This year.
A solo trip.
By myself, solo trip. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited.
That's something
I'd almost die as well. But
we'll see how it turns out.
We'll see if you ever hear from
Tara
me
may
again.
have almost died tonight. I mean, she really is pushing the limits.
Yes. So yeah, those are two of my, I guess, fun facts.
Nice.
I guess living on the edge.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, and I think Katie is also interested in skydiving. That's something that you're also kind of kicking around the idea of.
Yeah, never in my life have I thought that would be something that came out of my mouth. And then, a couple months ago, it was just like, I think we should go skydiving.
I think there's also something different between skydiving, because I knew people that skydived in their early 20s, and you don't think you're ever going to die, you know? And then I think
when you get older,
a little bit older, you're like, I
could definitely die.
Because I didn't tell my family
about that
I
a
was
lot.
doing it. I didn't tell anybody really besides some of my friends locally that I was doing it. So then I thought I should maybe
should have let someone know.
Yeah. Like
please
give somebody a key to my place. Just
write the will out on a piece of paper.
Just in case. Yeah. Well, that's what I remember when I think I was turning 16, but my dad was like, "Yeah, I'll take you skydiving." Like he had a friend who had a plane. And he had skydived at once in his life, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll just take you up, and we'll just jump out of this plane." And I was like,
your dad packed the?
Yeah, my dad was like, "I'll do it myself," and I was like, "I'm on board." I was totally down with it, and my mom was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, she, like, shut it down. She was the only one that had, like, any, like, common sense. But at that time, I was like, I'm totally into it. But, like, now, I sit here and I'm like, I kind of want to do it, but I could die. I just don't know about it.
You know.
But
also,
why not?
I mean, you could die.
Exactly.
You could die tomorrow on the way home.
Go walk out the door and just get hit by a bus.
So the goal is...
Maybe we will go skydiving.
Yeah, the goal is to maybe work out a skydiving trip next fall-ish, or like toward the end of the summer.
Ooh, and if we do it in Virginia, the leaves will be changing. If
I don't
my
think
eyes
that's
were
gonna be of a
open,
concern.
maybe I would see some trees.
I don't think your eyes are going to be open based on today's experience.
Probably not.
They will
I
be,
almost died
feel
today.
like. But you won't remember any of the
Yeah, it
times
just,
that
like,
your
goes
eyes are
fast.
open.
Yeah, your brain blocks all that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're an idiot.
Everything shuts
Essentially,
down. You just go into survival mode.
Yeah, they give you all these things that you go over. Say, okay, you bend, I do this, I tap you on the shoulder, then you open, then I do this, and you pull the chute. Like, they give you all of these, and you go over it ad nauseum. Talk through it. What happens next? Okay, we're gonna jump out of the plane. I don't remember any. Like, I didn't do any of those things. I didn't follow any of the instructions.
You were just like,
properly.
flying through the air.
Chute, but he grabbed my hand to put it on the. Yeah, like I did that, but
You had to pull it?
I pulled. Yeah,
That's not, I'm gonna appreciate
No.
that. Like, no, if I'm attached to you, you best be pulling.
Yeah, I'd be
the
like,
damn
I just
thing.
wanna,
I
like,
can't be responsible.
Hold on
that.
for dear life and let you do all the work. Like,
No, I can't be responsible for like, holding on to my phone on a daily basis, like pulling the chute.
let alone pulling the chute.
Nope.
We'll have to do it. I've almost convinced myself that it's something that I will do. So I just need to do it.
If I can do
It's like the roller coaster today. I just need to stop thinking about it and
Yeah.
just do it.
It's
Just get
true.
on the fucking roller coaster and like
That's
go.
right.
I mean, well, and one of the things that I was terrified. So don't get me wrong. I didn't think it was a great idea.
Yeah. You said, what did you say you were thinking? You were like the entire time you were like, I'm gonna die, and then you just jumped.
Yes, I was terrified. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want this to happen anymore. But then I was with and my instructor was a dear friend, so I knew he was going to take care of, and I trusted him that he knew what he was doing. The business that he worked for knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so that made it easier. But no, I kind of didn't, and he had kept bringing it up. Like, when are you going to come jump with me? I want you to come jump with me. Like, this will be a great,
We're like,
why not
do
share this
it.
thing with me? You're
Yeah.
my friend. And then I just got online and bought it.
Yeah, you just.
And it was
You're
not
You're
do
like,
it.
well, I spent that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so frugal that I said,
I
"Nah,
must."
gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with the Bali trip. I was like hemming and hawing and hemming.
Just
and
do
then
it.
I just said, I just pressed the button, and then it was done. And then I backed myself into a corner so I could lose all of that money. And I could still do that if I chose to back out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. So I know myself enough to...
You're stuck in it now.
I now have to go through with it and not be scared anymore because other humans do it all the time.
Yeah, that's how I talked myself into my Scotland trip, because I was like, if I just keep thinking about it, I'm never actually going to do it. So I just bought it, and I was like, we're in this now. We must do it. Like, there's it's non-refundable.
Well, and my fear, I think of going to Bali by myself, caused me to buy a ticket to Costa Rica by myself.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving, because that's my trial run, because Bali is very far away.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how I got convinced.
Yeah, Costa Rica will be a good
because that's
dry
easier.
run.
Yeah. And so then that was a fear-based trip. Yeah.
I'm trying to convince myself to go to New York by myself for just a weekend. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. But I'm like, I just went to Scotland by myself.
You can do New
I
York.
can do New York. Like, it will be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, even though
fun.
in Scotland they speak English, it's not the same, and it's hard to understand. So
But I was like, I can do New York. I can do this.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go, like, if there was a particularly interesting thing happening for you, like maybe at the museum or at the Met or something.
It's 29 rooms. It's like an immersive art experience. It's supposed to be really... It was just in D.C. and I missed it. All the tickets were sold out.
They just zipped through,
So I'm trying to get maybe tickets in New York on a weekend.
Yeah, because otherwise wandering around up there is just like, it's a lot of buildings. Okay.
Central Park.
Central
I like to go. If I go for work,
Central
I'll
Park.
go walk with my work friends. We'll go before we have to go to the meeting. We'll just Actually, like work out and just do walk and like and then you just see things in the city.
Yeah, but you're already there. I'm saying like to go there outside of work time to go like for a reason. Because I've been a couple of times and it's just like there would have to be a really good reason to like bring me back there. I've had enough.
Yeah, I've only gone twice, and I've only ever gone with other people, so I've never gone by myself. But
you just did whatever you want. See that?
I'm like, I think I could do it by myself. Like, just get a train, do a nighttime train from Friday into Saturday, and like do the experience Saturday, and then come back on Sunday.
I mean, can you tool around in DC by yourself?
Yeah.
Than you can do New York by yourself.
I don't know. New York seems scary.
I mean, the subway's more complicated.
That's the thing. I got lost on the subway on my first time there, and I was like, I don't know where I am. How do I get back? And then the lady on the subway yelled at me. She was like, "This is the end of the line. You have to get off the train." And I was like, but I don't know where I am.
You got to the end of one of the lines?
Yeah. We got way lost.
Or you were in Manhattan still?
Yeah, we were trying to go to
South Manhattan.
We were trying to go to the Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
And just
you were close.
Took the train. Took the train too far.
Yeah, to get.
Yeah, but she was like yelling at us. She like poked her head out of the front of the train. Was like, "Get off the train!" And we were like, "Where are we though?"
Then just Uber.
The Uber was not around.
But now you can.
Now yes.
Now you can Uber.
Back in the day, Uber did not exist.
Yeah, if you can move to DC by yourself, essentially, figure out some stuff, go sightseeing, go to things.
Yeah.
You can figure out getting around
the way around
to go to this one event. Yeah,
it'll be fine. Good. I just gotta make myself do it. Tara's just downed the rest of the moonshine.
It was just a little backwash.
Gone. The gym.
Backwash.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know each other well,
that's
so
right.
it's all right to share the backwash. Speaking of knowing each other well, we all used to work together down in Mississippi before going our separate ways. And so I've known Katie again for like, what did we say, like 5-ish years? 4, 5?
2014.
What is that, 5?
Yeah, 5.
Which means I think, Tara, I knew you maybe a year longer than I've known.
13.
Yeah. So 6 years. So 5 and 6 years, yeah. I was like, I think you came on
June 2013.
A little earlier than Katie did. But you guys have known each other for far longer than that,
2008,
right?
baby.
2008.
Yeah. 10, 11 years?
Jesus.
11 years. So you guys have known each other for, what, like probably 5 or 6 years before you and I met. Mm-hmm. And then you were the lab director at our old job in Mississippi. And then we were looking for new folks, and you recommended Katie. Mm-hmm. Katie came on, and that's how all of us met. And then Tara was the first one to leave.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She moved up to DC. She's the reason I ended up in DC, because there was a job position at the office she was working at. She recommended that I apply for it, and I did. So this is all your fault. Mm-hmm. My career path is all your fault.
Trying to help you guys with your careers and shit. That's what
it's ruining our lives.
Scaring the shit out of me all day.
Ruining our lives. Yeah. But so we all worked in Mississippi together for, I don't know, probably like a year or two total. It wasn't very long.
It wasn't very long because I also did a detail and I worked,
and you were gone.
And then I deployed earlier, and I did travel for work a little bit. I think after Katie had onboarded, I was
you were gone.
I got during the detail got the job offer.
Yeah,
and by that time.
You just drag people in and then you leave. Mm-hmm. You did the same thing to me. Like when I made it up to DC, you left. You got a different job and left the office that we were both working in.
She's like, "Oh no, I can't
I'm
have people
bound.
know
I was
me
like,
here.
wait, now.
I gotta go."
Wait, Allie, she hired her?
They got stories. I gotta go.
I gotta get a bounce.
Like as soon as I show up, they leave. But you were around for a little while.
It was a little while.
Yeah.
I did leave fairly quickly.
Yeah, like a couple months.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when we met, I think I was definitely like Katie and I clicked immediately, and I was definitely intimidated by you when I first met you.
I mean,
but I had
puts her boss face on.
Yeah.
No joke about it. She puts
I was
her
like,
boss face
I don't know
on
about this one. But I think it was like there was a day where we were working in the lab together, and I don't know, we started talking about podcasts or movies or something, and I was like, oh. And then, like, it was fine from there. Mm-hmm. Like, we have a lot in common. You used to do roller derby, which is badass, and I was like, well, she must be cool. She used to do roller derby, like...
Beat up people.
Yeah, I mean, knocking people on their asses.
Yeah.
pretty
It
cool.
was fun to watch. I'll say
Katie
that
used
much.
to come to the game.
It was fun to watch.
She would have posters for me.
Heck yeah, man.
Edith Headlock.
That's right.
That was a big swig.
Yeah, you like that?
I was sipping.
Yeah,
You
just
took,
a tiny bit.
Woo!
I think we were up here a little bit.
It was full.
You
I
touched
just
it.
opened it.
It sent shivers down my spine.
It set
Yeah.
upon you.
Yes.
We know.
That apple Jim Beam, tasty. Warms
Strong.
the vocal cords.
Mm-hmm. Gets them a little loose after all that
Oh, goodness.
screeching that we was
Oh,
just
my God.
doing.
God.
Goodness. So now that we've caught up on how we know each other, if you've been keeping track, you know that this should actually be a mini-sode. But you know what? Fuck the rules. It's going to be a full-length episode. It's All Hallows Eve, and anything goes. So
I mean, you do make the rules here.
I
Yes, this is-
am the boss.
This is
I do what I
your
want.
thing.
So, as I mentioned, just to again kind of reiterate what we just came from, we are fresh off of getting the shit scared out of us for like 5 straight hours at King's Dominion Halloween Haunt. Halloween Haunt takes place from September through the first week of November, and they literally turn the King's Dominion theme park in Doswell, Virginia, into a haunted house, essentially. Like, it's full of haunted houses, mazes, scare zones, and then of course you still can ride a lot of the like the roller coasters or the drop zone, which we found out is Tara's absolute favorite ride.
I mean,
Today.
You-
It was
Today.
her favorite ride
Today.
Today it was
It's
at the
my
top.
favorite
It was
ride.
at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
there's some practical reasons for that we can go into.
But we'll talk about that one later. They also have like musical performances, and yeah, it's overall I really enjoy it. This is my 4th year coming to the haunt, and I was gonna say I think it gets better every year, but this year I think it wasn't as good as last year, and I'll get into that in the verdict section. But I'm lucky enough to have friends who are willing to join me on these things and
Be tortured by random people. Mm-hmm.
just put themselves out there. And this is the part of my birthday celebration every year. That Jim Beam
It's
It's fucking good.
it's hitting.
that apple is strong.
I like it. Oh, should have always read more.
I just grabbed
Gotta
a little bit, you know. I was like, how much do we really need?
At least, well, now we know for next time.
Now we know.
Dangerous.
Now we know.
But yeah, so I've done this last 4 years as part of my birthday celebration. And Katie, you joined me last year, so this is your 2nd year in a row.
Yep, number
and
2.
Tara, this is your first time.
Yes. At King's Dominion, period.
So you got to experience the rides and the haunt, because we did do the all day, all night pass, so we could come early, hit some of the rides, which was probably the most terrifying part of this experience for me, because we all know by now that I hate roller coasters. And I did go on one.
Most rides. Really, I think you should
really
just say most rides.
Yeah,
Like, at this point,
I don't like
it's
rides.
more-
But you know, she'll make
carousel.
a carousel.
I
Her.
will,
Yes,
I will
ride
go
the
on a
shit out of
carousel.
the carousel.
That's right. That's
And
right.
maybe bumper cars.
Bumper cars.
yeah.
Although bumper cars was a
Listen.
struggle.
Hey man,
You
those
weren't- you
things
did
was
not do well.
possessed.
I did not
Right.
do well. I backed myself into a corner and
I
got
love
stuck
that
there.
I finally figured out how to work mine, and I got it turned around and was going the wrong way.
Yeah, I
and
was like, you
you
can't
were
go that
the person that
direction.
was like, no, turn around. And
I was like, you have to
"Man."
follow the area.
Just running into people. I don't even care.
I was like, no, no.
Just
The
children to begin with.
rules.
Yeah, you know.
Oh my
Teenagers,
god.
they needed a bit of
Bumper
jostling.
cars were fun.
Mm-hmm.
The roller coaster, honestly, was not that bad.
No.
I did have a death grip through the entire
Yeah.
thing.
I felt like that one after, so, and we'll get into this, but, you know, we stood in line for another ride and ended up being, like, shut down as we were, like, maybe a couple of cycles from actually getting to ride it. And that one was classified as an aggressive thrill, as was the first one, which is the one we got you on.
Yeah.
And I felt like that one maybe did not deserve its aggressive thrill.
Oh, you did not think it was
label, Not
aggressive?
in comparison to that one. So they either
Oh.
need to, like,
Reestablish.
reassess
Their
their
ranking
rating
system is
Think-
faulty.
Who really defines these?
Yeah.
I mean, is it King's Dominion deciding what it is, or is there a standard that all roller
Is there a roller
coasters
coaster?
should
doubt that
adhere
there
to?
is.
Is there like a roller coaster connoisseur?
There's a roller coaster we need to find out. Was there a roller coaster committee?
Just one person that rides it, and they're like,
council
that felt pretty aggressive.
The American Council of Roller Coasters.
You can really assign metrics to this.
I feel like it's made up.
Somebody needs to
I feel like it's really
juke
made up. Someone was like, this one's high, it's got to
What
drop.
were the settings? What were the different settings for different roller coasters on your app?
It was aggressive, high, and then I want to say moderate and mild. And so
Don't those mean the same thing?
I
Don't all of those words mean the same?
aggressive and mild don't mean the same thing.
Yeah, but like aggressive and high. Like what's the cutoff point between an aggressive roller coaster and a high roller coaster?
That drop on the Intimidator is the difference.
Maybe that's what it is.
Aggressive.
Like the steepness of the
See, that's what I'm
maybe?
saying. You could provide metrics
know.
like the steepness of the incline, the
Yeah.
total speed, the total number of loops,
How many people cry.
the angles of like how
Yeah.
the loops and repetition. Like you could
the spins. I'm sure there's a ranking system.
But I'm sure you can provide.
We're gonna need some more data on this.
I'm starting that fucking
Right.
council. We're gonna make bank.
The roller
I'm
coaster
gonna
council.
be like really set a standard for what it is.
Yeah, we
it's
need
probably already
a
been done.
system for
Probably.
this. I think,
But you
I
never
think it
know.
is.
Yeah.
Judle it.
Yeah,
There's a
we'll have to
requirement.
look into this. Katie, you tagged along with me last year, which we had a group of 4 of us last year, I think.
Yeah, there was 4 of us.
It was a mixed bag of folks. How do you feel this year compared to last year? Like in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, in general, we did not get to do much riding prior to the haunt start at 7 last year, and so we did make an effort to come earlier. We did ride quite a few rides, and then the haunt got started. So in comparison to last year, I was happy that we were able to do more things. That also meant my feet hurt more by the time that the haunt started. And then just kept hurting, but that's okay. That's what ibuprofen's for. And then as far as like the haunt itself went, I felt like it was a lot less crowded than last year, which was cool in a way because, I mean, last year was almost unbearable. But I also felt like we missed out on some things. You know, I felt like last year, the way they had it set up as far as the entertainment and things like that,
And the terror
I
zone,
liked that
scare
a little
zones.
better. And that's not to say that it wasn't good, but I just preferred that versus kind of their new thing that they're doing this year.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah. We'll get there.
And Tara, did you have any expectations coming into this? Or were you just kind of like, fuck it, let's go, we'll see how it turns out?
I didn't spend a whole lot of time like looking into it. I mean, I bought a ticket and I read some of the things
Step
on
1.
it. Yeah, I just followed your instructions. And then didn't really dig it because I mean the website didn't have a whole lot you know, about like what the expectation was. No, not really. Like I didn't know what a terror zone was compared to. I mean,
Yeah.
it was haunted
Terror
mazes.
zone versus haunted house.
I didn't know there was going to be music.
Oh yes, it's the best part, honestly.
I think I was expecting it to be, and one thing that probably was in my head that I might have brought up today was I thought that just everything across the board, starting from opening, was just going to be everybody was like dressed up like monsters or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like it started, like it was just the all day. There wasn't like a difference between the haunt starting and so I was kind of expecting us to like get there at 12:30, like we were saying we're coming early and then we could start seeing people
doing the spooky stuff.
Yeah, and all these spooks. Yeah, but it was not.
No.
But I mean,
they got to get all the youngins out for Snoopy Land has to close down.
Yeah, they got to close down Snoopy Land.
They got to pick out all the babies and then the haunt.
And then it's like bring your baby at your own risk, which we did see.
There were several small children strapped to chests.
Maybe like a 3-month-old baby.
Yeah, tiny baby.
3-month-old baby.
We'll see how that one turns out.
Let's get back in 5 years, see if it can hear.
What's going on with that kid
How
in
his
5
eardrums
years?
are going. Yeah.
So, a couple of questions. Do you guys typically enjoy haunted houses? Do you go to haunted houses on your own? And did you go to them as kids?
I mean, I would say I enjoy haunted houses. I haven't been to one in a very long time. Actually, before I moved here a couple years ago. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Do you enjoy haunted houses? Did you go to them when you were a kid?
Well, yeah, I did. But haunted houses, for the most part, in Paducah,
In Paducah, Kentucky.
we're one of two things. We're
Just like to say Paducah.
yeah. We're not the hills.
It's close enough.
Flatlands. There's some
Close
bottoms.
enough.
It's not. It's
not all hills, okay?
It's farming and there's some flatland. But it's one of two things. It's someone. This was growing up. Well, maybe there's been some expansion since I left. But it was either someone like threw a trailer, the back of a tractor or trailer, like a container, right, and would convert that and like set it up like the mall, and it would just be this weird, like it was weird.
You're like,
it would be like done in like 2 seconds, right? Because you just basically like walk through and like, and then you leave. Or
40 feet of terror.
I don't know what. Essentially. And I remember leaving one as a kid, being like, "What are all these adults doing?" Like, it just seemed weird to me.
Yeah. You're like, why?
What are they doing there? Like, is this stranger danger? Like, I don't know what's happening.
Come on into my trailer, kids.
I'm a Dracula, And I'm like, oh, look at it. But so you had that. You had the weird ad hoc trailer things, or the trick haunted houses
That were the religious ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there would be like haunted cornfield. Come out to my haunted cornfield.
Mm-hmm.
They would do all this business, and at the very, and there would be like, jumping
Yeah.
down, spooky, scary, and
And they'd be like, Jesus will save your soul.
And then at the end, they trap you in this. They give you. Basically, you go to church at the end of it about how those are the more benign ones.
I've
But
never
then there are
experienced
other
that
ones
before.
that you go into, and every single horror is a sin of
Abortion.
That's a big one.
God.
It's a big one. No,
Very graphic abortion.
very
Horrifying.
graphic abortions.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've never
sex, like
run
all
into
the
that.
things that are sins are HIV, and there'll be somebody in a hospital bed like, what sex and gay get you, that's what
Whoa.
really you'd prefer the tractor trailer creepos
Yeah,
in the mall parking lot.
Definitely. Take your chances on that one.
At some point as a kid, I was like, I'm not going to go to that because I wasn't.
Why would you want to?
And I've been very, especially once I became, 11 or 12, kind of the age when I had a mind of myself, and I knew that was some bullshit shenanigans that were being pulled on me, and I was being tricked into going to church.
Yeah.
When I knew I didn't want to go on Sunday,
so
and I don't want
much.
to go on Friday nights, like when I'm supposed to be going to a haunted cornfield. I want to see Pumpkinhead or whatever pop out of a cornfield.
Wow. I've never run into that before.
Those were the experiences. That was all it was.
I wonder if that's because I grew up in the Midwest, which was pretty conservative, but I wonder if that's more of a Southern haunted house tactic, maybe?
It's...
I don't know, man.
It's a thing.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Almost any, big... nowadays, generally, if you're in a fairly decent sized city, and I'm not, when I say that, I don't mean New York City, y'all. I mean,
20, 30, 40,000.
Yeah, if you have an easily accessible, fairly large haunted house in some abandoned building that's just being rented out or whatever, it's probably one of those. Because they got a lot of money to do this. So they'll start it out where it'll be super creepy and this is awesome. And about halfway through you start getting that kind of moral ambiguity type stuff. You're like, wait, what? And then at the very end, I've been to some where they literally had a guy crucified on a cross, a real dude, and he's saying some stuff, and then at the end, they're like, there's a wedding with Christ in some part. I don't even know where that was going, but I have been to quite a few, but even in Raleigh, I've seen them now there.
It seems like they're more advertised, hosted by so and so church.
I think they have to do that now.
Yeah. But before, when I was in the 80s, when I was it was not.
Yeah,
there was popping up.
Yeah,
I wonder if I
and I didn't know as a kid. I didn't see the flyer. All I heard was
haunted
hey,
house.
there's a haunted. My mom would be like, "There's a haunted okay, Maze, I'm going to take you to it, and I would just go, and then I'd be like, what's this shit?
I wonder if maybe this is something I've blocked from my childhood. Because I feel like...
You'd remember those.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I just
like,
don't...
Amy went in for an abortion. There's like blood on the walls.
Oh yeah, no, it is a girl. Like a baby dangling out of her cage. And it's like a full-grown baby. Like it's like 5 years old. And you're just like, what?
Oh
I don't think this is
yeah.
right.
I think I would remember that unless I've blocked it from trauma.
Yeah,
but
you
see,
remember.
the thing is,
we're talking about it. I'm seeing it in my head.
I don't remember this as the things I was taken to as a kid. As a teenager or a young person who had friends who could drive, like that was the places we ended up going to as they got kind of more popular back home. And then, it was kind of just like, what is we're not going to go. But it was like the only place to go for a little while in some of the areas that we lived in. So it was kind of like, all right. Well,
I feel like I had a totally different haunted house experience growing up. Like,
like the kids, like when I was a kid, oh man, it's totally different from that stuff.
Yeah.
But like as a young, going by myself, starting to go by myself with my friends, that was what we went to, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, like because the town I grew up in, there was a whole bunch of like abandoned and condemned houses, and so the city would like take control over the houses, and instead of like immediately like demolishing them, they would turn them into the haunted houses. So you'd show up to this abandoned property like in the middle of town, and they would have turned the entire thing into a haunted house, and they were like scary, and you had like some of them you could pick the scare level, so you could go like ultimate like as scary as possible, or like not so scary,
high
and like
or
not
extreme.
aggressive. Mild or moderate. Yes. Aggressive is what we always went for. But they were like really, really good ones. Like I remember this one that, I don't know how they do it. I think about it still sometimes. But it was a dark room, no lights. You had to just fill around, and there was like a hole in the wall. And you had to like army crawl. Yeah, no. It was like a culvert. It was a culvert-sized hole.
Okay. All right.
It was not a glory hole.
Stick your hands out.
But you had to
Put your
army whole body into that hole. But you had to army crawl through this hole in the dark, and then it spit you out into another dark room that was like...
And then you're a human centipede.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up on Saw 5. But they were like, I don't know, the room... I have like very fond memories of haunted houses, because we went to a lot as kids. And then this one time my mom, who was a Girl Scout troop leader, took us on a trip to somewhere, I don't remember where, and there was a haunted mine, and so they took you into an abandoned mine shaft.
Fuck that.
And they turned it into like a haunted house, but in this mine shaft.
Fuck that.
And it was amazing.
It hardly seems
It was
OSHA compliant.
so awesome. Most definitely was not. But we were like driving back from some other like Girl Scout event. My mom was like, "Ooh, a haunted mine!" Pulled over, and she was like, "Go,
Get
have
out."
fun." And there's like 6 of us girls, and we were like maybe 12, 13. I'd say anywhere from like 11 to 13. And she was like, "Have fun, kids, bye." And we just like went and did this haunted. It was amazing though. It was so much fun. I think that's why I love Halloween so much, because I just grew up with it.
I mean, I grew up with Halloween, like dressing up.
Or like the
Halloween.
haunted houses.
Yeah, but I never
loved it.
I dressed up, but I wouldn't want to go to the.
No, I had a family that was like, "Oh, this is scary. Let's let the small children watch it and become like horribly frightened for the rest of their lives."
Oh yeah.
And then I can remember back being like little. So Mobile, place where I'm from, has a lot of really cool, like super old shit, and it's got all these
Beautiful
old
houses.
like forts and houses and old hospitals and just like crazy ass places where people used to. I mean, the forts all still do the haunted fort nights and all that kind of stuff. And then I remember going into one, like they took me, and I had to have been very like under the 8, like 6 or 5 or something. And I remember getting in trouble because somebody reached out and grabbed my ankle, and I just kicked them right in the face. Like they had come out from under a bush or something. Like
they're not supposed to touch.
No, but they were allowed to touch. We're talking.
Yeah,
this is like 1980, 1990. They're
No
allowed to
rules.
touch. It's a free for all in there.
Yep.
And so I can remember that very vividly, and just being like, I don't fucking like this. And then, you know, going to the haunted, like, fort stuff where you're a small child and you're walking through all these creepy forts, like all the different rooms and stuff, and all this shit is going on, and it's on an island that used to be called Massacre Island, so your little brain is just firing on all cylinders. You're like, oh shit, and then you walk up and there's this like cistern area, and they've got it filled with water, and it's all these bloody baby doll heads floating around in there, you know, and you're just like, and then you walk in and you see your cousin who's working the thing, but you don't know that. You see her head seemingly cut off and on a platter, like she's dead, ready for to like be served to people. You know, just like
blew your little mind.
And then the fact that, you know, my family was always like, oh yeah, horror B movies are great, blah blah blah. Here, you're a tiny little person. Watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Like I don't. All I know is I can't escape a thing that's in my dreams, so I guess I'm gonna die now. You know, I can remember going to bed after watching Chucky just singing the Brady Bunch theme song over and over as a small child, just because I was just like, Chucky's coming to kill me, I just know it. I'm in the bunk bed with my sisters, and I'm getting in trouble because I'm keeping them awake. And I'm just like, you motherfuckers just let me watch a murderous baby doll, okay? Like,
this is on you.
Help me out here. But, you know, we all grow from our struggles, okay? Let's just say.
If you're like me and you're just getting started with podcasting, it can be scary and overwhelming. That's why Anchor is such a great choice. It's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast, and best of all, it's free. It also has great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Another great feature of Anchor is that they'll distribute your podcast for you. Your listeners will be able to access your podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many others. You can also make money from your podcast using Anchor, and that's with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and it's easy to use. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. So this is a part where we will kind of dive into each, we won't go ride by ride, but we're going to kind of talk about what our favorite ones were, which rides, which shows and haunted houses we enjoyed the most, which ones we didn't, and why. And so to start off with, this year, so again, I've been coming for 4 years, and this was the first year that they've done something different for the intro musical performance.
Oh, okay. That was a question I was going to ask. Was it, they changed it up a little bit each time, but
they did. Like, they actually had several new, I think a few new mazes, at least 2 new scare zones, and then the whole introduction was completely different. Like, usually it's
somebody's got hired. Somebody quit. Somebody else got hired.
A new art director or whatever they're called.
The Overlord.
The Overlord. Yeah. Usually
they get a new boss of that person that's like,
and they were like, it's going to be a queen.
Do you know what I like?
Marie Antoinette.
Renaissance.
So instead of the Overlord coming out with his minions dancing to Thriller and other
demons?
Classics.
So it was demons and ghouls.
Yeah.
What it was usually.
And vampires and the Coven, the witches, would usually come out and do, you know, a super cheesy dance number, but it was like badass. I was into it. I enjoyed it. And this year, the Overlord was taken out.
He showed up.
He showed up, and he was immediately taken out by a
queen of some sort.
I don't know.
From the Renaissance.
A strong female lead, Allie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strong female lead, Marie Antoinette-esque, right?
Well, they was wearing bustiers,
Like
you know, of course.
the high-end Halloween spirit costume.
Harlot.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they cut off a dude's head.
They cut off a dude's
A
head.
vampire. He got his head
That was
cut
quite
off.
entertaining. I don't know how they did that.
I just,
that
that
was
whole
a horror movie.
intro thing, it was really kind of just like,
It was just
I
not
was looking
that great.
forward to
Like the rock
energy,
music, the dance,
energy
like
of last year.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get that. Not that their production was any worse.
just was not
per
what we were
se.
expecting.
Yeah, it just wasn't there.
Wasn't it was I thought it okay, I did think that it was weird because she had the Overlord come in and be like, I'm Overlord. And then she showed up and
What was
like,
that?
I'm the Overlord. Right? Hey, what's
Beautiful.
up?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love biscuits.
I like biscuits and an Overlord.
Where my witch is
On
at.
weekends. Yeah. But then she came in and they were like, I'm in charge now.
Mm-hmm.
And they just took over.
And then she cut off some dude's head.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just told his other minions, like, okay, go
work for
frighten
me.
people.
Yeah.
And then they just all left. Like, it was a weird...
Yeah, and it works better with the original storyline, because the Overlord's like, rise my children of the darkness, let's have some fun, go out and get people. So, like, the storyline of the Overlord makes, like, way more sense than this overthrown masquerade ball.
And then she's like, yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm your new CEO. I'm not going to change things up.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing, but I'm going to go do a dance number.
And then they locked the Overlord in a cage. And then the new songs were called, like, Heads Will Roll, which, of course, they sang Heads Will Roll, but it's multiple times throughout the night. But, so, I was a little disappointed. I will say, I was a little disappointed because I was very much looking forward to the intro that I know and love.
It wasn't ghouly enough. I mean, they were just basically like Renaissance. The rich people during the Renaissance that wouldn't have gone to the Renaissance fair.
With like cuts on their face.
Right, with weird cuts and sores. Syphilis or whatever, right?
Got the syph.
But like that was it. But if you're coming to a Halloween thing,
I want to be scared.
Like I don't want
a Renaissance fair. I want to I want to be.
I don't want a shiny dance number.
Yeah.
It was very shiny. It was very bright.
Mm-hmm.
They're very like bright white colors.
Little disappointed on that.
They did have like a fun
thing,
death
metal. You know, like
aspect because they had that one guy not on stage with them, but in the crowd playing
the guitar guy.
But he was not playing the guitar.
Well, they tried to pretend like he was playing
because I could, from where we were standing, I could hear him hitting the strings every now and then. It would be like, I was like, ooh. Why are you touching it? Like, don't put strings on it then if you can't control your fingers. Everybody knows you're not playing this song.
Well, and then so that leads us to our other performance comment, which was one of our favorite things from last year was the percussion ensemble #blood drums.
Blood drums.
And they kind of had them.
I feel like I need to do like a metal, like.
Yeah, they had them off to the side, kind of like
on
the
a
redheaded
tiny
stepchild.
stage.
You know, they couldn't really do their thing over there, but they tried, and we appreciate the effort. We watched them, and that was good. We had a good time with that.
I really enjoy #blood drums. They're quite entertaining.
Industrial.
Like Stomp,
yeah.
I was gonna say it's like the Blue Man Group, but
industrial.
dirtier.
Yeah, dirtier, with more dirt. I was gonna say with more face paint, but that's not true.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
With more tattoos, maybe? Who knows what's under that blue paint?
Yeah.
Who knows what's under the blue paint?
Yeah. No, so we had a good time watching that. It was just really it was a bummer because last year's
huge production.
Yeah, last year's shows for them were on the main stage, and it was just like big, and you could see everything, and it was really cool. But they even had like a new fire twirler gal out there this year.
Fire dancer.
So they had they had her out there doing her thing.
And they do their little like spark shooting stuff with the grinders
grinding the metals.
I really enjoyed Blood Drums.
It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely a highlight of the night.
And it was right next to Tara's favorite ride, so
which was the Drop Zone.
Drop zone? Is that what it was? I mean, I could look it up.
The Drop Zone.
The phone's over there.
Instead of the Danger Zone. It was the Drop Zone. That's what I was singing all night. It was the Drop Zone.
But yeah, so in between that show, Blood Drums, Drop Zone, we did our thing, wandering.
Yeah, and we did get the Fright Pass, which if you ever decide to come to Kingston Mendon Halloween Haunt,
absolutely.
You were a fool to not get it.
Spend that extra money. The first year we came, we did not get the Fright Pass, and we only made it through like 2 out of the, were there like 6 haunted houses because the lines, you're literally just waiting in lines the entire night. And with the Fright Pass, you can like get through them in like 2 hours probably, if you really wanted to.
Yeah, if you wanted to blaze through them. Yeah.
If not, faster. Get the fucking Fright Pass. Spend the money. Get the Fright Pass. Do it. But what were some of the other? What was your favorite haunted maze that we did? So we've got Blackout, Blood on the Bayou, Condemned, Cornstalkers, Lockdown, and Trick or Treat. I think was the other one.
First one we did.
Yeah.
So I just say process of elimination. Lockdown.
Nah.
No. couldn't possibly be a favorite. I think we all kind
Absolutely
of agree.
not. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
not. It's not one of the better ones.
That's the one that's the easy one. I did not like Blackout. I didn't think it was.
Scary.
I didn't
I didn't think it was
enjoy
black enough.
Yeah, I could see
needed
like
to be
exit
darker.
signs.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And I could see people's legs, and I could see, like I just, I wasn't as impressed.
It's
by
one of
that
my favorites, but I feel like they did things different this year, which is fine, right? Change means growth, but
Shut up. Sure.
but I also did not find Blackout as scary as I have found it in the past.
Okay, so maybe we'll put it
I'd put it at a 2 for now. 3.
as your third favorite.
Yeah,
I'm making notes over here.
I was like, Katie
Trick or
has
Treats
ranked.
was the first one that we went to.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
was decent. They had a couple of times where they got me. Because
Yeah,
we all
yeah.
know, if you haven't listened to that first episode,
Yes, you
know,
must.
the camping episode, then you don't know that, anytime we are out at a spook fest, it's like I have a sign on my forehead or above my head that lights up and says, please, come at me. So
Yeah.
that was our first one, but also like a pretty good one because, I mean, that girl, like, she held me up in there. Or was that a different
No,
one?
That was
the other one.
Condemned.
Yeah, it was the other one.
Condemned?
But no, they got me in
Yeah.
that one pretty good. Like, they had a couple of pretty good spooks in there.
Yeah.
in
It was a good one to start the night with,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, but Condemned was really good.
Cornstalkers.
was really good.
That one gets points for me because
Yeah.
last year I did not feel like that one was
They
that
stepped
good.
up their game in that
And
one
it
this year.
it was a lot better this year.
Like, it was crazy. There
Yeah.
were
you
people
could not
liter-
tell that they were in the
corn.
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so I guess for the
crazy.
listeners,
Mhm.
right? The entire haunted house was all of the walls was corn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were like as though you were going through an actual corn maze in a field.
And then people just
But the
blended
people
right into them.
No,
Were
they were
wearing
doing so good.
outfits that they were
amazing.
standing up against the walls in the corners, and there were times that I would look.
Yeah,
I'm
you wouldn't
looking
see
for them.
No.
Yeah, and you couldn't
And
see
I
them.
couldn't see them, and then immediately they would come out of the walls onto you,
Yeah.
which was terrifying because
And-
you were like, I just looked for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Like you appeared. Where did you materialize? Yeah, it was.
And it was a
pretty
longer
scary.
one too. Like that, I
Yes.
think may actually be maybe the longest maze, or it seemed to take longer to get through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it felt pretty long just because the kids behind me were like the most.
Yes, the
obnoxious
children were terrible in that one.
But Condemned, I thought was pretty good because they gave
Yeah, I like
you
that
a
one, too.
flashlight.
yeah,
But out of the three of us, they only gave us one flashlight.
so Katie had to go
So
first.
Katie, the entire
She drew the
theme
short
of the night
end of the
was who's
stick.
on first.
Yeah. We actually made Allie do a couple of
First.
firsts.
Which I like to be in the middle because it's
She
the
likes-
safest spot.
And I think and I believe that the time that you did the first was you were telling me how I should walk, and my answer was "fuck you." Then get in the front.
I was telling you to slow
wait.
down.
Yeah, like don't do. And I was like, you know what?
You go.
Because you said you wanted to be scared. So, oh, you want to be scared? Get in the front.
That's right.
Get in the front then.
And it wasn't scary at all. That was
That was a lockdown.
Yeah, that was locked down. And it's because they don't control the size of the crowd that goes in. So it's literally just a stream of people, which means the actors don't have time to reset into their spots to actually scare you. So I was trying to get Tara to slow down a little bit so we weren't right up against the people. But then you have like a mob of people behind you telling you to go, and
We're
it's
like,
like,
what
oh.
are we waiting on? We've been
Yeah.
waiting forever because we didn't get the fast pass.
Yeah. I've been waiting for 4 hours.
Sucks to be
We're
you.
like, oh, we
So-
walked right in the door. Sorry.
Yeah.
my bad.
So you have to continue with the flow of traffic, and so that's always the case with lockdown. Like, it's just not a good. The logistics on that one are just not good. And then I went first for Blackout too.
Yes.
I went first on that one, which again, I don't know. For some reason, last year it just seemed scarier. I'm not quite sure why. It wasn't that scary this time. Maybe because the Cornstalker was so good.
Yeah.
Because that one, I mean,
Could've been.
that one got us
Yeah.
Yeah, that one got us
a
pretty good.
lot.
That one
And I
got us
thought, the Condemned was good. I guess that theme was just a condemned building.
good. Well, and there was like a wedding.
Oh, I didn't
I think
see
all the
that.
ghosts are were there for like a wet. There was something going on.
Really?
Several of them were like,
I missed
she
that,
left
too.
me. She left me.
couldn't
Are
see.
you coming? Are you gonna marry? Like there was like stuff going on.
when they were talking to
Yeah,
you.
there was stuff going on there where they were, like wedding stuff. Like
Oh.
some of them, the people in like the tuxedos, the gray tuxedos and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what quite a few of them.
I
were
thought they were
talking
just
about.
like hotel staff.
They could have been. I think some of them may have been guests at the hotel, and that was kind of one of the things.
Okay.
I don't know. That was the one where the guy that literally chased me down the whole hallway.
Yeah.
So I
Oh
was
my
just
God.
Like,
That one was
So she
So
had the
good.
flashlight.
I left
And
out in
they-
the dark. I was like,
This
bye.
guy just chased her, and she was gone.
We were like,
That
what?
was after he had me in the corner, like up against.
You
the
got
tile
pinned like
wall.
twice in that
Yeah,
one because
yeah.
the lady also like would
She
just
had
not
me
let
in
you
that one,
pass. She was like,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you're not going anywhere.
Oh, that was like, I was like, you guys to get out of my way, like
Yeah.
for real, like let me scoot around, or I'm about to dive like over you. Cause
Yeah, that was a good one. That was another
that's
good
the
one.
one that got me last year pretty hard.
Oh
too.
yeah, because they were like up
They
on
were
you
on
last
me,
year.
breathing on my neck. I can't handle it.
They do find you though. Like Tara and Katie were standing in line, and I was sitting down, and
Like getting beverages.
Yeah.
somewhere, like totally just like not chill.
and I watched this guy like
circle.
see them, and he was like, "Those are the ones." Can't walk all the way around, like didn't mess with anyone else, and just went straight to Katie to like pick on her while they were in line. And I was like, she's not lying when she says that they like, you've got some type of like just beacon that says, "Come fuck with me," like scare the shit out of me, please.
I think my uncles would say that is, the sign that I'm fuckwithable. Is how they would put it. It's like I'm a fun sport.
Yes, maybe.
Because I also just kind of like go with it too, like I will let them scare me. Like I don't have a problem. I'm like, sure, man, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in fun and it's a good time until they really don't let me go, and I'm like, all right, look,
You're like,
you
I
need to
gots
get the
to
fuck out
go.
of my way because we gonna have a problem.
Yeah, my problem is I lock eyes with them, and my full resting bitch face comes out.
They
And
just
then they
run
just
away. They're like, no.
They just walk past me, and I'm like, that's what I fucking thought. Like, I don't think I mean to. I'm just, it's how I protect myself, I suppose.
Well, see, I thought I was gonna do good because that last little kind of stroll that we made through the park, and we went back through the pumpkin patch area, whatever that was called. And I saw you two go one
The
way.
pumpkin eater.
The pumpkin eater. I saw you two go one way around the carriage, and then I was like, I'm gonna go this way and see what's up over here. And I saw them fucking with these other people. So I'm like, oh, they're like three
They're
or four
busy.
of them were distracted with these other people. And they were making a scene, so it was like, okay, I'm good to go. And I just kept on walking, and then one of them saw me, and I just was going, no, and I just kept walking like the other way, and then they just all converged on me, and I just took off running. Boom, I'm gone.
Yeah, we were like, where's Katie?
And then I get to the end, and I'm like hiding behind the outside like pillar, like looking back in, looking for you guys. And then one of them had creeped around me and came around me like right when y'all saw me. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was just like, "It's still happening."
Oh my god, it was good. There were like, I definitely had a few like genuine screams.
They got us a couple
Like, it was
times,
good.
for sure. Yeah, no, it was good.
The scare zones again this year. I don't know if it was because there were less people or what was going on, but they weren't as active as
Yeah, I feel
they
like
were
we
last
saw
year.
like way less staff.
Yeah, there didn't seem to be a lot of actors out and
Yeah.
about.
Well, and I think a great story they can illustrate the what was going on in the Teller. Where were we? It was the Cleaver Brothers Carnival. And we walked through like for the second time, maybe.
Yeah,
And
it was the
three
second.
actors.
Yeah,
Standing, 2 men and a woman standing
Backed
backed up against where they had
Like a wagon, like
a
a carnival
wagon,
wagon.
yeah, and a little boy, probably about
10.
8, okay, 10,
Maybe.
tiny
sucking on
child.
his t-shirt, like had his like the collar of his t-shirt in the front, like in his mouth, and just sucking on it, but just staring
at them.
And one of the guys going,
I'm gonna call
I'm
security.
gonna go security. You need to stop and go away. And
Leave
the boy
us alone.
just leave us alone. And the boy was just standing there, emotionless.
Like dead-eyed.
Yeah.
Like,
Dead-eyed.
what
I
the
was
Which
like-
is an amazing thing to see. But
Yeah.
then, like them being like, "Kid,
Get out of here!"
like why didn't they just walk away as grown-ups?"
I think he was following them. Like I feel like it had been happening for a while.
It's little kid.
But that child was maybe the scariest thing of the night. I mean, he was literally just like, come play with us type. Like,
Yeah. They were scared.
yeah. You have to leave us alone. And the kid was like, nah. I'm going to stand here and
I'm not
stare
even
at
going to respond
you.
You're
to
my
you saying
best
that. I'm
friend.
just going to stare at you. Yeah.
With my dead eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think definitely Cornstalkers was my favorite for sure.
And then the Bayou one.
It was okay.
I mean, you know, as Bayou folks,
What is that, folks from the Bayou?
well, you know, but Bayou experienced peoples
Yeah.
as well. Maybe not from there, but experienced. I feel like going in there, they have the decor is fun and very Bayou-y. It's just not that spooky. You know, it's just not scary. Like
Yeah,
the other
not a
places
lot
that
of
jump
jump
out get
scares.
you. But at the same time, I feel like they would benefit a lot from some sort of rougarou representation or like classic, you know, like hoodoo kind of, you know, you got your shaman or whoever, you know, they're performing some sort of ritual. All they had, you know, basically was like
Gator heads.
they had some gator heads, but they have like a butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why is a butcher your Bayou representative? Why is that a thing?
Yeah, talk a lot about meat. Feed meats to the monsters.
Yeah, feed meats to the monsters. I'm like, well, where is this monster?
Tell us what the
Oh, the rougarou?
tell you know.
Okay, well,
Explain what that is.
quickly, it is a Bayou kind of myth, you know, cultural folklore, and it's a kind of wolf man entity that creeps around the swamp and whatever, and basically the boogeyman for any good Cajun woman to threaten her children with. But, you know, and they can
Is it
also...
like the Babadook?
Yeah, they can also be called by like someone practicing the dark arts and whatnots to come and get you if they feel the need to be rid of you, kind of thing. So I mean, it is just your boogeyman of the bayou, kind of.
So we kind of already touched on favorite rides. Like we did a roller coaster, which was fun. Tara, you really loved. Well, you enjoyed the drop zone.
Yes.
Which is one of those like a.
It was
drop
250
tower,
feet,
yeah.
dropping
Yeah.
at 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was exciting to
I've heard
watch.
that a couple times.
It was exciting
Yeah.
to watch.
It was fun to experience the delayed,
The whoosh.
the air that
It was
comes down
terrifying.
off of it, like
Yeah.
Terrifying. Yeah. But I think that the reason that I went on that ride 2 more times
yeah.
wasn't because it was the most amazing thing. It was that it was
Very
expedient.
short, yeah.
There was not a
There was
huge
a line, yeah.
line, and you could kind of fit it in. Like, you
In
could
between
have
things,
an
yeah.
hour to wait in line to go on this other roller coaster.
Or like 6.
But nobody was waiting in line for that, and there was you still got that fright and rush. It was an amazing view at the top.
Oh, I bet.
And then
Trees.
it was over very quickly, but you still got that. You basically got all the roller coaster rush in a few seconds. And then you were done. I mean, it was fun to watch people like come off of that too, because people would be like, "Yeah!" Like guys were like chest bumping, and
Yeah.
we did it! Like it was pretty fun, and it was easy because it was kind of right there. So it was just like, oh, we
Yeah.
have 20 minutes to kill before blood drums.
Hashtag blood drums.
Yes. So why not? And it was next to the stage, so why
Yeah,
not
right
just
there, yeah.
pop in
Yeah.
if we're gonna be sitting there anyway and just ride a ride.
When you guys came off of it the first time, it was pretty great because you had the most, I don't know, your faces were just lit up with excitement. Katie, you had the shakes. Tara,
Yeah.
I think you were shaking a little bit too from like the adrenaline, and you were both just like, whoa, what?
It's
It was fun to experience
every single
it through
time
you.
I was just as scared
Yeah.
when we were getting closer to the top. The only thing that I didn't do the first time, which I did the second and third time, was halfway up I would look up
Oh.
and I would see how far we were, and then I would look down and be like, we're not even close.
Yeah.
Like we're not even close to the
Yeah.
top, and we're high.
Oh, yeah.
And so then that like
Was it scarier at night versus during the day? Because the first time we went was during the day, and the other 2
third
times were at
time
night.
seemed pretty. I mean, in my mind was like, what if this does? I'm still thinking like, what if this doesn't hold?
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if this like flies off? I won't know because I will be dead in such an instant.
Yeah.
Like it was all the terror and the fear and all of that was there every single time. But then you did it, and then the feeling of dropping just immediately so fast.
Oh my god.
Was fun, but it was over. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I mean that's what
I would say, is it similar to skydiving?
I mean, in that.
That same feeling, I guess, of like the rush?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I think so. It's different because I'm
not jumping out of a fucking
I'm like, I know it sounds like arbitrary, but I was facing a different way. And so, like,
you weren't facing directly down
the ground and being that far off the ground made everything that we jumped off at 15,000 feet. So that's like, I had no frame of reference to understand what
very surreal.
Yeah, but then
like,
for on that ride, like I can make out that's I can see the people on that other roller coaster, you know. And so even though I'm 250 feet up, I would say it's my absolute favorite ride because I think I'd like to come back to King's Dominion and ride all of the rides.
Yeah,
I want to ride all the rides.
Yeah, we got tricked on the Intimidator.
Yeah, you guys
I'd probably come back and do the fast pass.
Yeah,
and so I can ride every single ride.
Yeah.
I won't be joining.
Yeah. Probably neither one of you will because
I did one roller coaster.
I would like someone to go in all the rides.
All of them. Yeah, but just some of those ones that are really spinny.
The spinny ones.
And the flippy ones. I can't do that. I just physically cannot do that.
I did my one roller coaster quota and I was good. It's fine. So we've actually touched on a lot of the other questions, like what was your favorite ride, maze, or show. Do you think that you will come back to the haunt again? Or... something we talked about was maybe trying a different theme park haunt next year. Like maybe testing out Busch Gardens Halloween haunt instead of...
What do they call theirs? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of mine.
Yeah, we talked about maybe trying
something
out,
new.
You know.
Because that'll be year 5 of this for me. So maybe it's time to check out a different theme park. And see.
Especially if they're going to... Because, I mean, based on your experience... You know, they keep the...
Masquerade.
Yeah, like they kept that one kind of thing rolling for a while. Now that they've changed it, in all likelihood, they've spent the money to change it. They're probably going to keep it for a while. And since it wasn't really our favorite, why not go try
it wasn't really my jam. So I think I kind of liked that idea of trying a different theme park next year. And I love Busch Gardens, so... Yeah, it's a little farther, but I don't know. I like the idea of getting like a historic like B&B in Williamsburg.
Yeah, rent some.
Yeah, it'd be
Have
nice.
a good time. Make a weekend.
Maybe a wee bit nicer than where we are now. I think we also touched on kind of like the least favorite part was maybe the intro and
Masquerade.
The Masquerade. And some of the scare zones weren't, you know. We didn't get to see the Coven, which we were super excited about.
Because some of
we love the Coven.
There's on the website.
They
listed as
they're listed as one of the shows.
They're like a roaming troupe.
They move around so much.
Yeah, witches that dance, and I didn't.
And they are the ones
them at all
that snatched up the Overlord and put him in the cage.
Yeah.
But you couldn't really see, and they didn't really do anything. So.
I was bummed about that.
In the beginning, they did the whole like opening dance number, so you really got to kind of get used to it.
And they went full force. Full
force. They were
force.
so into it, so that's what we really wanted to see. And then we didn't even see them the whole time at all. So that was I think that's my least favorite part.
That was definitely a bummer.
Yeah, I missed the Coven.
And we didn't do the Tollway Terror.
Oh yeah, we did not do that.
Yeah, because the downside of the Tollway Terror is that it does not have a fright lane. Which means last year I think we stood in line for
2 hours.
2 hours, 2.5 hours in the freezing cold.
Yeah, very end of the night.
For a ride that lasts 5 minutes.
If that, and it's not even like one of, I mean, you can kind of see through it's a car on a track and you can see what's coming up. So, yeah, they're like if somebody was really hiding behind a tree, okay, but realistically, like it wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't worth the physical pain of standing
that was really
in
painful
place
last year.
Yeah, it was brutal.
In the line from the beginning, like as they had people lining up for haunt stuff by 6 o'clock when it doesn't even technically start until 7, and some of them were letting people in early, but then, you know, the trolley wasn't, and that line was at least a 2-hour line at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it was.
So no, thank you, no sir, Bob.
Not worth it this year.
Especially by the time we got finished doing everything we wanted to do, we're just like, no.
And it looked like they changed that one up too. Like the two haunted girls that were like kind of roaming in the woods by the tollway. it was different. They made some changes this year.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm on board with all
I had
of
the
them.
hypothermia by the time we actually went on it, so I don't really remember what was happening.
Tara, this being your first year, do you think you would come back again on your own, or like if it was not my birthday celebration, do you think you'd be like so pumped about the haunt that you would come back to it?
I'd probably come back just because it's so many haunted houses, like so many things all at the same time.
In one spot.
Yeah.
Plus you get your rides.
Yeah. I'd probably just plan. I'd probably probably like get all the haunts done, or then and then ride some more rides like in the evening. So not all the rides were open, but ride some of the ones that were open.
I was surprised at how many of the roller coasters were still open.
Yeah.
Yeah, they run those like all night.
Yeah.
Which is
It
cool.
wasn't. I was thinking about that I thought there would be people that I know who would like to come, but I was even thinking like, well, I couldn't invite these strangers to your birthday. Do you know, like?
Oh, yeah.
So I would be like, well, would I go back with them, or do you know, like?
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of thinking through like. So yeah, I mean, it was enjoyable. I mean, I would come back.
So before we wrap up, I'd like to ask my guests 2 final questions. The first question is, what is one thing? Katie's like, oh God, I didn't study. I'm not ready.
I don't know if I can function.
I don't know my last two.
We're almost done. For everyone listening, we are.
Oh, man.
It is past
Heavy.
midnight. We are very
It's 1
tired.
o'clock.
I'm so fucking tired.
We're almost done. Thankfully, Katie and Tara are indulging me in this, and
I can't quit touching
Woo!
are really
I just really want to
participants.
snack on food, and then,
And
but I know
sleep.
like opening the packages and eating is just gonna enrage the introvert.
Yes,
so
Tara's-
I'm trying to
eaten a couple
restrain
of peanuts,
myself.
so I'm
Tara's
sorry, I haven't
chomping
heard
on
it.
peanuts, but
Can't hear.
No man, that cheese Danish over there, like I almost reached for it a while ago, then I was like, don't do it. It's gonna be so
we're
loud.
almost done. We're so close. So before we wrap up, I like to ask my guests 2 final questions. The first question is, what is one thing that you've always wanted to do? So like a bucket list item. And or it can be like an activity that you've always wanted to try. You know, it doesn't have to be like a life-changing event. And why do you think you haven't done it yet? Like, what do you think has been holding you back? Who would like to go first? Katie or?
I mean, I think it's hard. I'm going to talk myself into the answer. There's always, like, there's tons of shit that I haven't done yet that I need to do. I mean, we're just talking, I think when we were waiting for the roller coaster, like, I want to go to Africa and I want to see a monkey in the wild, and I want to, you know, see the pyramids, even though that's kind of played out in archaeology, right? Like, it's not, but I want to, you know, travel to South America, and I want to, like, I just want to see tons of things.
Take in as much as you can.
Yeah. So there's tons of stuff I want to do related to travel. What's held me back? I just didn't. Well, what's held me back was having someone to necessarily go with me, and then deciding that I don't need anybody to go with me to go do the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, I'm just gonna, like, that's what I've started this year. Like, I'm just doing it.
And
I
you've
just have a
done-
lot of catching up.
Yeah, you've done some pretty cool shit already, like the skydiving thing, and then Bali and Costa Rica. Like, yeah, so
I have a lot of catching up to do.
you're making your way through your
My
list.
list. That's what's been holding me back. Just letting myself do the thing that I want to do, and just accepting that I just need to do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's definitely something that I struggle with. I'm trying to be better about it this year, but
I mean, you can start with small steps, like just
there.
going
Going to New York by
going to New
myself.
York or doing. I mean, I think you're already doing some things. Like, I don't wait for somebody to, like, go to a concert that I want to go to. Like, I'm just gonna go buy a ticket and go to the concert. I know that you've been
I've been trying to do that more. Yeah,
like, I want to see this band, and it's really important to me to do that. But if I'm going to sit around and try to find somebody to go do this thing that isn't as passionate about it as I am, well, then I'm never going to go do the thing, because maybe there
You're
isn't
just
anybody
waiting
in
forever,
my life that's
yeah.
as passionate about it as I am. So
Yeah.
just go do it, the thing.
that was one of the reasons
You're not
why
going to
I'm
regret doing the thing. You're going to regret sitting on your couch watching
thinking about
watching
it.
reruns of Harlots or whatever, you know, while you're...
Well, and when you go, that's when you meet the people who are also passionate about that thing. You know? So, I mean,
Create your little
opening the circle.
family. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, because I was like, it'll be a way to kind of encourage me to go out and do the things that I want to do. And it is called Fun with Friends, but there will be times on the podcast where it is a solo podcast and it's just me talking about something that I've done. But that was kind of the thinking behind it, was the catalyst to start getting out there and doing things. As Katie yawns,
I didn't even open my mouth.
you're the next passing it off to you. Last time you said you kind of had this a similar
travel. It was a lot of
it was traveling
stuff
to
like
New Zealand,
the big 3 kind of things,
Yeah.
or the big 2, and then just some shit thrown in afterward. So you said what I've always wanted to try. I sent you a text message. Was like, oh, I have my answers for this podcast already.
Oh yeah.
And then I realized like what I was going to say would be skydiving, because we talked about that earlier. But I have not always wanted to try that. I was one of those people that was like, why you want to jump out of a perfectly good plane? That's fucking stupid. Why would you do that? And so I feel like that's not an appropriate answer now. But then I thought about a place I might like to go. Mm-hmm. And I think I'd want to, like, in the States, one of the places, I think I'd like to go to the Redwood Forest.
Ooh,
I think I'd like to do that. I feel like my soul would get a lot of really good energy coming out of
Have you seen a redwood in person?
Like, in real life? No.
Oh, it's wonderful.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that would be somewhere that I'd really get down on. So I think in the next, hopefully 2 to 3 years, our goal is to go visit some family that I have in Washington State. Mm-hmm. And I might be able to convince the man to, we'll
drive
take a trip
on over
down
there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But it's one of those things that I would love to drive cross country and go visit them and be able to just do a bunch of different stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that would be like a solid 2-week adventure.
Oh, most definitely.
You know, so, and plus we get to bring the dogs, and it'd be a whole great fun family thing. I don't know if that's how it's going to go, but I'd like for that to be how it goes. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to kind of stick to the travel thing, because now that I've gone to Scotland, and I've always wanted to travel a lot internationally, and now that I've finally done it, I kind of want to just
keep doing it.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, I almost want to go back to Scotland, but do the Isles and like Orkney and like just dig into the archaeology there and just spend more time on like the Isle of Skye, because we hit that for like a couple of hours, so we weren't there for a whole lot of time. So traveling's definitely at the top of my list.
Oh, I meant to say have a baby.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
How dare you? Don't speak that
Nasty.
blasphemous.
Give birth.
Do not speak that blasphemous information. No, not on this podcast.
You know what though? You know what? We have decided we're gonna rope you into going to one of the yoga retreats at the Yogaville.
Ooh, yeah.
So just so you know, we've already decided.
Okay.
You're joining us.
All right, I should put that on my bucket list.
You're joining us.
Oh, it's gonna be
yes.
awesomely weird.
And we're all going to a concert in what, like 4 months?
Yeah,
5
February.
months? I don't know.
February.
Sometime soon. Which that will be
On the 29th, the leap year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
It'll be
doing
a
the week
blast.
before though? I'm gonna be
You're
in
going to
Mobile
Mobile for Mardi Gras.
For Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Which
got
I would
an
love to
Airbnb.
February is going to be fucking amazing
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my
Nice.
birthday. Mardi Gras.
Oh.
Joe King Day is my birthday.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you a baby and a king cake.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna chip a tooth. Yeah.
Choke on that baby.
Okay, so I made it for
Oh
my
my God.
office, right, the first year I was there, and instead of putting a baby in, because I didn't want to, like, murder anybody, because they don't know how it works, really. They
this
eat it
king
and
cake?
swallow it.
Yeah.
I used
Like, I
a
pooped out a
pecan.
baby. What does that mean?
I used a pecan, right, and then so it turns out that, like, my boss got it, and she is allergic to nuts.
Jesus.
I was like, oh, my bad.
So you
I
almost
put
killed
a
her
note,
anyway.
though. I said there's nutmeg in this, and then there's also like a pecan half in there in lieu of the baby. So the next year I didn't do the nutmeg, and I did plastic babies.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, well, she's super cool, and she ate, so she was like, I'm eating it anyway, and I was like, at your own risk. But
If you
alright.
swallow a plastic baby whole, I mean, what is going
I don't-
on?
Yeah.
Chew
no.
How
your
do you
fucking
eat?
food.
What is your life
Chew
like?
your like you
Well,
just
don't
swallow
even
it
chew
whole.
Yeah, you don't even chew it.
Chew your
It's like
fucking
cotton
food.
candy. It just melts
Oh
in
my
your
god, I can't even. So travel seems to be at the top of a lot of our lists.
It's a
See
luxury
the world.
to have that on
Yeah.
your list.
Yeah, to be able to do it.
Yeah, to then be able to say I'm gonna do these things.
Yeah. The second question is, what do you think is the key to a good friendship and maintaining a friendship? So, communication seems to be the number one thing, right? Any
Yeah.
other advice that you may have?
I mean, I think going off of communication, but like talking about
Meaningful things?
and that or knowing that sometimes that not every friendship is exactly the same. We've talked about like the ease of moving back in.
Yeah.
But I have friendships that are work. They require work. because there are situations in that person's life that they're struggling with or that I'm struggling with. And we've got to like figure it out together, and it's important enough for us to talk about things and say like you would think of marriage or any other relationship. Like you hurt my feelings when you said that. Yeah. But I know, like, because I have a couple of friendships that we have to go into that mode. Like, you said this thing to me, and I know what you said was hurtful, but it wasn't, you're not directing that at me, but you're taking it out on me. Yeah. And we have to work on that. Because it's important, you know, and so, like, I think that it's important. So, like, yeah, it's great. It's great to have relationships that are easy, but also those relationships can turn into one that requires work sometimes, and you have to decide if it's worth it. Yeah. Is that individual worth the time? Because there's not always easy times. Yes. Yeah. Most definitely. And it could not be because it's, you know, you did something wrong. It's that person is struggling. Yeah. That's definitely.
You gotta be honest about it.
You gotta be honest. Like,
gotta be willing to talk about it. Yeah. Put in the work. And that is Tara's,
or don't.
Tara's advice
to do it.
Well, I mean,
put in the work or don't.
It's not if it's not good.
Yeah,
you've got to cut.
Sometimes you got to let people go.
And I've done that, but like, what I had to just say, we're not going to be friends anymore because it's not it's not good for me to be around you.
It's not working,
especially early on in a friendship.
Wonderful advice. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this episode. You guys rock. I'd like to thank Tara and Katie for joining me, not only recording this podcast, but for keeping me safe through the haunted houses, not making me go first on everyone, and also convincing me to ride a roller coaster. I'm always terrified, but then after the fact, I can look back and say I kind of enjoyed it. A little bit.
You did.
It wasn't that bad. It's always a great time.
Drop zone next time.
Oh, God. Oh. You know what? Okay. Man. I'll say okay.
Take the challenge.
I will try it.
She's lying to us.
Yes, 100%. Because we're not coming back.
Maybe I will try to do 2 roller coasters instead of 1.
She's like, redirect.
This is where we get into the bargaining stage of our relationship.
All right.
It's always great hanging out with you guys. And I'm glad we finally got to get back together and have a girls' night out, and that it was at the Halloween haunt. Be sure to check out the Fun with Friends podcast on social media for photos, videos, and outtakes from this episode. You can find us on Instagram at Fun with Friends Podcast. Also, you can email me at funfriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you think about the podcast, any questions that you may have, and let me know what's on your bucket list. Thank you again all for joining me on this latest adventure. Happy fucking Halloween. Yes. Boo. Now go out there and do some shit and have some fucking fun. Bye.
Raise hell, praise down.